Hi everyone. It's episode 10, which is exciting. Yeah, I didn't know how many episodes I would do of this, and here we are, 10 in, which is exciting. Like I said, so exciting. I was gonna sit and knit for a bit, catch y'all up on what's been going on, so let me grab a project here. I have just the one. First off, today is April 17th, which is local yarn store day. I'm a terrible local yarn store patron in that I am not going to my local yarn store because I don't need anything. And I also don't really have like a disposable income, so anyway, someday all that may change. It's Saturday afternoon. It is warm here in Chico, California, but we're surviving. The AC may kick on at any point. I have a fan going overhead, and I am just trying to keep cool. I was going to wear one of my FOs, but I would have had to, even this morning it was kind of stuffy, so I wouldn't have been comfortable wearing it, but anyway, the cats are in here and about. The husband is out on a long run, so it seemed like a good time to record an episode. And yeah, but if the kitties are, making noise, that's all that is. They should be relatively calm compared to last episode. I've been doing a lot of work with William Blake, aka work on myself, to be patient with him when he tries to get my attention by making noise, because like most cats, any attention is good attention, at least when it comes to him. So me hollering and screaming at him only encourages him. So I've just been doing my best to ignore him, and it seems to, be working, knock on wood, but he's let me sleep through the last couple of nights. I don't know what that's all about, but I've been getting very good sleep. I joined a gym this week. Since I got my second vaccine, I feel a lot more comfortable just for myself personally. So joined a gym, hoping to use, because my poor bike, I need to get some new tires on it. I was gonna use that for my cardio while my hip is in rehab, but my tire just keeps getting flats, and I think I just need a new tire to protect the tube, because the tubes should be fine. They're brand new tubes. But anyway, so I joined a gym, cheap one, just like to be able to use their cardio equipment. And I kind of overdid it, and my hip is hurting again, so gotta back off on that. It's no fun. It's very frustrating when you have a goal and then things get in the way. It's very frustrating, as you all know. I turned 30. That's like a big one. I'm getting texts. I didn't put on Do Not Disturb because just in case Jamie needs to be rescued, but hopefully those won't jostle the video too much. Sorry if they do. Yeah, I turned 30 on April 6th, and had a couple of nice, quiet celebrations with family. Went up to my grandma's house for Easter, and we kind of had a birthday thing for me with my family. And then Jamie's sisters live in the same complex as we do, apartment complex, so we had them over and ordered sushi, and there was this cookie place called Crumble. It's kind of a West Coast chain. I do not want to love this cookie place. I may have talked about this in the last episode, but the cookies, man, they're so good. And then Jamie made me a Southern caramel cake for my birthday, for my family dinner on Sunday, on Easter. It was so good. That cake. Anyway, everything went well. I got lots of goodies. Lots of things I get to share today. And yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on around here. I did have a friend who I know watches sometimes. Hi, Hannah. She came up to visit last weekend, I think. Yeah, it was really good to catch up with her. I hadn't spent more than a couple hours with her in years. So she stayed over. The vaccine, man. I know it's not like you're totally immune, but it's total mindset shift, just feeling safe to do things with people. So that's been really nice. Jamie and I have gone out to get drinks, and just he's not vaccinated yet, so but obviously everyone who's open is still following protocols, so he at least feels comfortable with that. We always sit outside, that kind of thing. But he's getting his first vaccine on Monday, so exciting. Is there anything else? Life's been pretty boring otherwise. Nothing, huge to report in my corner of the world. Oh, I've mentioned that I have a love-hate relationship with social media. And as of yesterday, I put in a deletion request on my Facebook account, which has been inactive for years, so that was easy to do. But, what's next is Instagram, which is much scarier to me. But at one point in time, Facebook would have been scary too. So what I've gone ahead and done, I've put in my email address in my profiles on all 4 of my accounts. Just in case anyone needs to get a hold of me, because that's the biggest thing, is I'm afraid that someone's going to try and reach me and I'm not going to be reachable, or I'm going to miss out. Fear of missing out is really the big thing for me. But since I haven't been trying to run a business, social media was always kind of a necessary evil as far as that goes. But I never really loved it. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of amazing things happening on social media in particular and on the internet. But as everyone knows, there's also a lot of downsides. And now that I don't have a compelling reason to be on there, aka I'm not trying to earn a living with my creative work, it really kind of feels like the costs outweigh the benefits for me personally. I am worried that I'm gonna miss out on ways to support other people, but just the fact that I say that is an indicator that the whole platform is built on commerce, which I don't think is what it was intended to be at the beginning. But as anyone who uses Instagram now knows, it's 100% just an e-commerce platform. The advertising is out of control. I feel like anyone who's on there and trying to be seen is selling something, and that's not always a bad thing. There's a lot of independent people who are able to have a business because of things like social media. So again, not a bad thing. It's a great tool for a lot of people. But for me personally, I'm trying to be a lot more intentional about my purchasing patterns and what I bring into my home, and using what I have. Like, Instagram is not serving any of those purposes. So it's hard. It's hard, you know, you want to support people, and I you know, I know people I've shopped with before, and it's, you know, it can go based on people's recommendations, and it's not hard to find, like, just because I don't have Instagram doesn't mean I don't have Google, okay? So I can go find my BIPOC yarn dyers. I can go find, you know, in Ravelry, I'm definitely not letting off the table because I use that in a totally different way than I use Instagram. Anyway, kind of ranty there, but those are some of my thoughts as far as social media for me personally. So I've deleted the app again because this is what I do. I delete it for a couple days and then download it again. But this time I've deleted it with the intention of leaving it alone. And we'll see. You know, it took me a couple years to be able to finally pull the plug on Facebook, and it might take me a couple years to pull the plug on Instagram, but in the meantime, I'm going to see what life is like without being active on social media. So it'll be interesting because in the next couple of years, Jamie and I will, you know, we're looking at moving for his job, and we're looking at starting a family. And so all these things, you know, people keep in touch with social media now these days, and it's just going to take more attention from people who want to know what's going on with me, like my mom, and for me to want to let other people know what's going on with me. Like, I'm going to have to say, let's have a phone call or face chat or video chat or whatever, you know. And like, there's nothing wrong with having to be more intentional about that. Like, I don't necessarily want my mom to only know what's going on with my life through social media, for example. So anyway, probably enough of a ramble on that. But yeah, that's, you know, some of the things that have been on my mind. Summer has officially begun here. I mentioned it's pretty warm. It's going to be in the upper 80s Fahrenheit here tomorrow and the next day. It's in the low 80s today, but it sure feels warm, especially in the sun. So I'm just, you know, doing the mental shift into summertime, and I'm working on a worsted weight colorwork sweater at the moment, and that feels ridiculous, but I'll get to wear it in the fall and in the winter, so it'll be worth it. And with that, let's talk about some knitting, eh? All right. This just keeps going off and off, so I'm going to, I just use my, all right, it's set to do not disturb. Sorry, all the shaking. I use my Google Pixel to record, so all these little notifications. Since I've gotten rid of the app, I have been reaching out to a lot more people because I need validation some other way. Real validation, real connection. All right. So, oh, what am I wearing? I made this dress this morning. It is the 3-seam caftan dress by Simple Simon and Company. I'll put a link to that, of course, in the description box below. But it's like literally you take some measurements, cut 2 rectangles out of fabric, and then sew up the top and the sides. And depending on the fabric you use, you don't need to do any hemming or anything. This is like kind of a silky something or other. I got it at Joann's. I need to iron it. You see this crease here? So I definitely like need to take some pinking shears to the bottom hem and things like that. But anyway, I'll see if I can stand up and show you. You can sure it if you want, or you can just put on a belt, which is what I like to do. So I love this fabric. Got some nice, you know, didn't really notice that. Some nice boob-shaped things right on my boobs there. But of course you can't see, but it is ankle length. And yeah, I love these colors. I love this fabric. Oh, I also got some new glasses. That's thanks to my grandma. She gave me some birthday money and I got myself some new glasses. And then it goes perfectly with my little tiger earrings that I made and showed you last episode, because the blue and orange is in there. Yeah, so that was very easy. I'd been holding off using this fabric because I wanted to do something like long sleeve, puff sleeve, kind of 70s style, but I was like, I kind of realized the project was going to be too much of a project, and that was a barrier to me ever using the fabric. So I was like, I've had this pattern in mind for a long time, or this little DIY captain dress, so I'm just going to do that. And I did, and I'm really glad I did, because now I have a cute summer dress to wear. So yay for using things you have. And then I finished my hairy poofer. This is what I was gonna wear. Last I showed it to you, I think it was somewhere on the body, but okay, so I'll talk about the Sapilla in a second, but I put that down and then I was like, well, I'll just take care of this guy. So it's fingering weight held double, and that makes it go pretty quick. And then there's a little, you're supposed to do 2 inches of ribbing, but I just did like a 1 1/4 or something. That seemed fine with me. And then puff sleeves. So I'll pop this on just momentarily. I do have pictures on my Instagram, and I haven't like deleted that, so you can go look at it if you want. But anyway, it kind of, it was supposed to go a lot longer, but my natural waist is pretty high, and I wanted it to cut me right about there, because if it's any longer, then I just start to look kind of blobby. So, you know, I like things that will cut me at my natural waist. Man, that really unfortunate. Oh well. Everyone can see that I have boobs. It's not a big deal to have 2 big targets on my boobs. Anyway, the sleeves are puff sleeves. They are pretty cute. And what I ended up having to do, because I wanted to use up a lot of the yarn that I had, and I was running out of Harry Potter. So what you're supposed to do, hold it double, and then switch out one yarn for another to fade it. So this is a free pattern by Beta Jezik of Hedgehog Fibers. And so right about here is where I started using Badger and Harry Potter, which is the blue, kind of the blue variegated. And then I started running out of Harry Potter. So I have this little scale, and I measured, I'll talk so you can see my mouth. I measured the yarn and kind of knit until I was about halfway, and then I knew that I had to save that for the other half of the sleeve. So I only had enough to go this far, but it hits right about my elbow, so it, you know, it's a design element now. And then I wanted to use up the rest of Minerva McGonagall, so I did this for a couple inches and then used Minerva McGonagall, half of that, which cut me off about half of the cuff, and then knit the rest of the cuff in Badger. So, you know, it's not perfect, but I'm happy with it, and it's like perfect to just throw on and have like a little extra coverage for like a spring cardigan. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and it was nice to use up those yarns and have them all together. And I recommend the pattern. It's pretty simple, straightforward, customizable. Yeah. It smells good. So that's the hairy poofer, which is what I call it. It's Le Poof by Beta Jezik is the pattern. And then, Mom, if you do somehow decide to watch and catch up before Mother's Day, look away. I finished the Raina shawl for my mom. So this is Whimsical Wood yarn company who did the yarn for the cardigan that I just showed you. And then this is her shit ass colorway. One of her ass ways, as she calls them. But yeah, it's you know, a loose spring. Of course, now we're already in summer. Good old California. But it's I think it's a free pattern. Don't quote me on that. I might have been gifted it. But anyway, Reina by Nora Backlund. Mesh and garter, pretty straightforward. One-page pattern. I was bored, but I got through it. So yeah. And I think the colors turned out nice on this pattern. It's kind of stripy, but pretty variegated. So yeah. Reina by Nora Backlund in sock yarn by Whimsical Wood Yarn Company. Excuse me. So those are 3 finished objects. And then I'll show you what I was just working on. Actually, let's talk about the Sapilla. It appears I have a finished sweater. However, turn this around. Sleeves lined up. One of these sleeves is not like the other. I don't know what I did, because I started with the same number of stitches. But there are 8 repeats on this one, and 7 repeats on this one. Needless to say, I was royally pissed. So, this is in timeout. I'm not going to wear it anytime soon. I'm sure at some point over the summer, I will pick it back up. But for right now, it's in timeout. This sweater has been cursed. I feel like I've reknit everything twice. It's fingering weight. Is it worth it? I hope so. The yarn is beautiful. So nice. Look at that. Look at that beautiful contrast. But, alas, it's been a pain in the ass. Hopefully the leaf blower isn't too disturbing. I can hear it. I don't know if you can. Got some LaCroix over ice here. So that's kind of a... It's not finished because I have to frog one of those sleeves. But it's in timeout. I have a half object. I have a hoe. It's a sock. This also goes with stash enhancement. Because this is PK yarn in her North Rim in Winter colorway, self-striping. And Jamie this is one of the yarns Jamie got for me for my birthday. So I just did a vanilla sock. Did a cuff down with an afterthought heel, so I cut in the heel. And then I just did a 3x1 rib on the top of the foot and on the cuff. And then a twisted rib on the top there. So, and then I had some leftover, this is Sure Cat, I don't remember the colorway, but it kind of matches the gray stripe. So I thought that would be good for the heels and toes. This sock fits me really well. I popped it on when it was finished and didn't walk around in it, so that will be the true test, but it fits me super well. So the ribbing helps keep it snug on your foot, and then I've got my little, it's also a anatomical toe. So you see how there's more decreases over here versus over here. And that's just because of the shape of my foot. Gross foot. Check out all my nasty calluses. But you see how my toes, it fits my little foot. That's a terrible I'm sure it's all blurry and everything, and no one wants to see my calloused feet, but my socks fit me perfectly, so that's all that matters there. PK yarn, she gumballs all of her yarn at this point. I know not every dyer does that anymore. Even if they advertise, like the pictures show that they do, they don't always, as I learned. But I love a gumball. They're ready to go. It's just wonderful. So these have been a really quick knit. I started them this week and I've already got 1.5 done. And I knit these on size 1s, 2.25 millimeter Chow Goo shorties. And I have my little alien buddy, because aliens in the Southwest, North Rim, Grand Canyon go together perfectly. So some little sock friends. Once I get these off the needles, I'm excited to start my Christmas socks. So I just really needed something very vanilla and very easy to just get my sock mojo back. So this has been the ticket for that. And then I cast on 2 new projects. Very exciting. So you recognize this? My socks were in my Whimsical Wood Yarn Company Burger Cat Rainbow bag. And this is my Nitty Kitty bag. I have a skirt made out of this, and the project inside is my pink short sleeve mohair sweater. This is all I have so far. But it is pink, it is mohair, it is nice and soft. There's a lot of construction on this because it's meant to be very fitted. So I did, this is Beauty School by Poison Girls. There's some shoulder shaping, and this is the back back of the neck. So you can kind of see it curves up. And then you do a turtleneck collar, or a rolled hem collar. My family will not stop whatever conversation they're having. So if my phone just keeps buzzing, I've got it on Do Not Disturb. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, technical difficulties. Being an amateur podcast. Witty! So I'm just knitting and purling back and forth on this, which is boring and why it's not making a ton of progress. But I did start my beauty school, so that's exciting. And then this also goes with some stash enhancement. It's a bunch of little William Blakes. They're so cute. So this is a blue Q bag. It's a tote with a zipper on the top, which is awesome for sweaters. I've got all my sweater yarn in here for a worsted weight colorwork sweater. Good old blue Q. My mom got me this for my birthday. Well, my parents, but my mom put it in the cart and checked out. And it has all of the yarn and a finished sleeve of my Maja cardigan, I think is how it's pronounced. Look at that. Oh, it looks so good on the camera. So colorwork's one of those things where you like really have to step back to appreciate it because you're so close to it. And it's nice. It's very nice to see it from far away. It looks beautiful. There's all my increases. So this is a pretty sparse pattern compared to what I'm used to. It's very traditional. Obviously you knit the sleeves first, then you knit the body bottom up, connect them once, at the underarm, and then you start knitting in the round on the yoke, the top of the yoke. And then this is going to be a steeked project. This will be my first official steeked project. I steeked some little thumb holes out of a sweater cuff, which like wasn't beautiful, but I don't care. This needs to be beautiful. So I'm very happy with how this is turning out. Oh my gosh, going from fingering weight color work to worsted weight color work is like just a dream come true. So yeah, so I've got a sleeve, and then I'm gonna do another sleeve, and then I'm gonna do the body. So kind of working on some other little projects before I start on this, on the second sleeve on this. But that's the Maja cardigan so far. Maja cardigan by Helen Magnuson. Look at my whips. Yeah, Helene Magnuson. Very pretty. I love the colors too. Can you tell I have a thing for purple? And that is it as far as works in progress. Knitting works in progress, I should say, because I have some paintings to share. The weather's been so nice, and I had some free time on last Sunday. My mom was going to come down. We were going to take a walk, and I had a couple hours to kill and thought, I feel like throwing some paint around on some wood panels and canvases. So I did. There's a few here, but I'll just show you the ones that are like, look like something. They're all abstract. I'm generally a representational painter, but I went abstract this time because I just wanted to play around. So this one is kind of a work in progress. Wow, it's really messing with the colors. Maybe if I had my face. Did that help? I can't see it. Yeah, it's got wood chips all over it, like little bark pieces. But anyway, this is just a panel. I use golden acrylics. I love them. This one I mostly used a palette knife and like a big scraper, like a dough scraper, but for paint. Yeah. I listened to Lil Nas X, Call Me By Your Name on repeat while I was painting this. Can you tell? Those of you who have seen the video. And then a couple of wood panel pieces. That's showing up pretty good. This one I want to put so I do this technique where I do a tracing paper drawing and cut that out and then paste it over a painting. I did a whole series using that technique, and I think this would lend itself really well to that. I want to do either like a big old lily or a big old tree, blossoming tree. Pencil drawing on tracing paper, cut out, paste it over. Yeah, and then maybe some other mixed media stuff. I would love like some vintage flower paper pieces to go with that. We'll see. And then this one is a more substantial wood panel. It goes this way. Not that it matters because abstract, you know, can do whatever it wants. But this is the orientation as I was painting it. This one I also want to do a tracing paper something or other over. Maybe I kind of wanted to put like a handprint or like a hand shape. But I really don't know. Again, it's just kind of experimentation. I used a comb. I actually got that technique from my friend Tara, who is on here as Dactyl Life, I think that's also the name of her podcast. But she does a lot of mail art and a lot of like abstract graphic paintings on her envelopes and things. So inspired by her as far as some of the techniques I used. Yeah. So there's some paintings. Been doing a lot of different crafts and arts projects this last couple weeks. It's been fun. I'm not crazy about the heat, but I do love the sun, and I do love the change of season. Definitely like, it's refreshing. So I'm, of course, already thinking about Halloween and can't wait for Halloween. So let's, get through summer, back to another cold season. But I do like it for the first couple of weeks, and then it gets old. Then the smoke season happens, and then that's so much fun. Let's do stash enhancement, because I have a lot of it, because it was my birthday. So I think that's all from works in progress, finished objects, stash enhancement. Okay. My mother, oops, sorry about that. Where'd it go? My mother-in-law got me a spinning kit. This is from Greenwood Fiberworks, who is an indie dyer and fiber dyer, yarn and fiber. So it came with a drop spindle by Green Sleeve Spindles. So pretty basic. I have no idea how to use it yet. Kind of saving this for when I need another craft in my life. I am excited to try spinning. It looks like a lot of fun. And then it comes with, so these are undyed. This one is Polwarth and Silk, natural roving. It's very soft. Hi, William Blake. What do you think? He loves boxes. So that's Polwarth and Silk, and this is BFL. So it's a little rougher, still very soft. This is Merino, dyed in Greenwood Fiberworks' Arcade colorway, which is going to be super fun. And then a couple of little minis. They're called Pigtails, if you get them from Greenwood Fiberworks. Put that down. They're all merino. This one is called Cappuccino. I love it. This one is called Crocus. It matches my, oh my god. So pretty. And then this is called Mallard, which is also gorgeous. I've been trying to bring more blues and greens into my life, so it's very pretty. They're like so pretty you just want to stare at them. But I want to spin them. Goal is to start spinning, get these all spun up by the end of the calendar year. But no pressure, because who cares? So that was an exciting thing for sure. I know I had mentioned to Bethany, who is my sister-in-law who owns Seth and Unit's yarn shop in Medford, Oregon. I'd mentioned to her that I would not be sad if I got a spindle and some fiber for my birthday, and so I'm sure she passed that on to my mother-in-law. So thank you both for that. Very exciting. And then I showed you, I've got yarn falling everywhere. Showed you the PK yarn, Pamela Kirschman yarn that Jamie got me, the self-striping. And oh, real quick, I wanted to mention, so I got, you remember, it's stashed away somewhere, but the lace worsted weight sweater, the Agatha cardigan by Andy Satterland, it felted. Put it through the wash and it felted. And then Bethany of Seth and Unit's yarn shop, where I got the yarn from, said, you got superwash. And I was like, I assumed it was me and I wasn't paying attention, and I had put non-superwash through the wash. And she reminded me, no, you did get superwash. And I went back and looked. This is why you keep up with your Ravelry, people. I went back and looked, and the label did indeed say, because I don't have my label, I don't keep any of my ball bands, because you could also do that. That's another way to do it. But let's keep it all digitally. Ball band said superwash in the picture on my Ravelry stash page. So she reached out to Cascade and explained what happened, and they very kindly sent me the skeins to replace it. So I'm going to show you, there's a slight difference in the original batch versus the new batch. Actually, it's kind of a significant difference. This is the original, and this is the new one. I love the new one. This is such a perfect color. I love it so much. So something went wrong in the production of this batch, and this is superwash, and this should not felt. Of course, I'm never going to wash anything in the laundry machine ever again, but this should not felt. Obviously, you should take everything out of the dryer, but if it were to go through the wash, it should be just fine. Even if it's, I had it on cool. I did throw it in the dryer and then realized later Jamie had thrown it in the dryer, being helpful, and I didn't tell him that there was a sweater in there. So totally not his fault. And that's when it felted. Supposedly superwash won't do that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But should not have happened. But anyway, I love this color. It's definitely more what I had in mind for the original sweater. And I do still have a ball to use for whatever else from the original batch, but I've got 4 of these babies. Point of the story is, if you have problems with your yarn, reach out to your local yarn store, reach out to the dyer. People will help you. And it's not always your fault. I assumed it was my fault because I don't, try not to blame other people for my issues, but in this case, it was not my fault. So, I don't know if that helps anyone with anything, but anyway, so that counts as stash enhancement because I got 4 new balls of yarn. And I am going to reknit the Agatha sweater. I still have the pattern. Andy Satterland recently took down a bunch of her patterns on Ravelry and is kind of getting out of the designing game, which is a bummer. So I'm glad I couldn't find the Agatha anywhere. I'm not sure if she's moving them or what, but I was like, oh geez. But I still have the pattern. I've got it in my library. I've got it downloaded. I've got it downloaded, and I have a paper copy. So yeah, I guess we're stuck with Poison Girls for that kind of vintage look, which isn't a shame. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about more yarn. So Jamie got me 3 skeins of yarn, and his choices were all excellent. The PK yarn self-striping that I mentioned a couple of times now, and then he got me, this is Cornbread and Honey, Foxy Lady. Which is beautiful. It is a fingering weight, superwash merino, 25% nylon, really gorgeous. This is, I think I said, my first Cornbread and Honey yarn. I'm really excited to try her yarn because I've been eyeballing it on Instagram forever. But yeah, very, very pretty. Excited to, I don't have anything in mind for it yet, but I'm sure I will. And then I told him I wanted worsted weight and fingering weight, so he got me a worsted weight skein, and this is from Lichen and Lace, which is a Canadian dyer. I've wanted to try her yarns for a while too. Birthdays are perfect. So what I did was I gave Jamie a list of dyers that I wanted to get some yarn from, and I just want to try them. And they've got so many beautiful options. I was going to let him decide. So he picked out some gorgeous colors, and then this. This is a 100% superwash merino on Lichen and Lace worsted, and this base is called Woods, and it's gorgeous. So, might make a hat. Might combine it with something else, make something a little bigger. It'd be a beautiful cowl, but it's very, very pretty. Yeah, I'm excited to have some worsted weight in my stash. I do not have enough of that. And I love knitting with it because it's so fast. My friend Laura got me some yarn from Nitty Gritty Yarn Store in Lebanon, Oregon. This is her local yarn store. Laura is someone who I have converted to knitting. I'm very excited to have done so. This is called Tonal Burgundy. It is actually the yarn store's self-dyed yarn. So this was dyed by the folks at Nitty Gritty Yarns, and this is on their Sparkle Sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. And it's tonal burgundy, and it's, oh, I love it. Can you see that sparkle in there? It's so pretty. I don't have any sparkle sock yarn, and I don't have enough purple. I really don't. Like, you know, there's some blue, there's some hot pink, there's some kind of orangey, browny stuff, but this is so beautiful. I want to combine it with something else I've got. There's a lot I could choose from, but it's so pretty. I think I'm going to want something, want it like around my neck. So like a shawl or something, as opposed to socks. So there's that gorgeousness. And then my mom got me, this also kind of, it super matches my dress. This is Nomadic Yarns. I haven't tried her yarn yet either. It's a self-striping, and it's on her trusty sock, which is 25% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And it's Sock Talk from the Grocery Girls. So that's going to make some amazing self-striping socks. I think I'm going to want to make some mid-calf to knee-length socks with these. My technique for getting socks over my giant calves is to go up a needle size as I go up the leg. I'm finding that I really like to be able to knit an anatomical toe if you knit cuff down. So I'm not totally sure. Like, so, okay. The advantage of knitting cuff down that I have discovered is the ability to do an anatomical toe. That's about it. Now, there's no reason you can't do an anatomical toe going toe up. One other perk to knitting cuff down is you don't have to deal with stupid cast-ons. Judy's Magic cast-on is fine, but I hate how fiddly it is, and I hate that I have to like adjust my cable halfway through. Like I gotta knit a few rows up before I can go to my shorty. But if I knit cuff down, I can just get started and go, which is wonderful. Advantage to toe up. You can knit half the yarn, half the ball, and then stop. And then you knit the other one, the other sock. It's a little harder to judge if you're knitting cuff down when to stop. That problem, however, gets solved if you are doing contrasting colors on heels and toes. So, if you're not a sock knitter, sorry, this probably doesn't mean anything to you, but it's important. I'm figuring out my sock game, y'all. So, what I think I'm going to do, don't know. I've got some hot pink, kind of bubblegum pink. I've got a pink mini. It might be a little light. I can also go buy a mini that's this hot pink, or I can find some other contrast. There's black in here. There's like a really light gray. There's a forest green. So there's options. There's orange. I can find a contrast color for heels and toes, and then do an anatomical toe up. See how that goes. And then knit until I've got half of this left. And that way I can do my increases on the calf. And that should work. And then do an afterthought heel in that contrast. I also wonder if a provisional cast on would work for the toe, so that you can keep live stitches to knit your toe on after. That's a thought. Anyway, I've babbled enough about socks. Nomadic yarns, self-striping, very exciting. Sock talk. Thanks, Mom. And then my birthday gift to me. So I've been following Mud Punch. She is Canadian dyer, on Instagram. Again, I'm gonna miss out, but I can also Google. So hopefully can get through some of my stash and then Google some yarn, and then I'll be fine. It'll be fine. I don't need Instagram, y'all. I'm okay. It'll be okay. This is the Supervillain Masquerade. It's self-striping. You can kind of see that there's some tonal stuff going on in here. There's a tonal stripe. Not tonal, speckled stripe. So it's like a dark charcoal and a light ice blue and purple and pink, and then a speckled tonal. Forget tonal. Speckled. I've been talking for 50 minutes. My brain is kind of speckled white with the other colors on that speckle. Very exciting. My PK yarn actually also has a speckled stripe. Let me pull that out because it's kind of cool. It's very subtle, this colorway. But you can see on the camera, there's a white stripe with some subtle speckles and then a cream stripe, which I think is really cool. And this totally, so if you look at pictures of the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, I think this captures it really well. Kind of washed out color with that speckled snow, and then the bright blue sky, and then you got the rocks. And then there's tons of foliage along the edge of the Grand Canyon, the North Rim or the South Rim. They both have foliage and trees, and it's beautiful. So yeah, I really think that like she nailed it as far as the colors there. I don't actually know though if she's talking about the North Rim of the Grand Canyon. I just assumed because the colors make sense in my mind. Funny thing, I don't think Jamie realized that's what he was ordering. like that's what the color's name was. But obviously he's like tapped into my brain somehow after 10 years of marriage. I love the Southwest and the desert, so he nailed it. So those are some of my stash acquisitions. They all have spaces to live in my secretary desk, but they also look super cute in this little basket. So they'll probably just live up there for a little while. And with that, that's really all I have today. I don't have a story. If you want me to read a story, I have lots of kids' books I could read. They're not all about yarn, but I love kids' books because I love illustration. So there's some really gorgeous ones out there. And lo and behold, Jamie's calling me. So bye. Hey, I'm back. I ran out so quick. I totally forgot to talk about this fabulousness. This is hand spun and plied by the Harpers of Sethany Knits. So Seth and Bethany make Sethany. That's where that name comes from. My in-laws. And then, so let's see. Seth spun the pink and Bethany spun the blue, Pool Party and Cotton Candy. And then my niece Eleni plied it. Isn't that amazing? You guys, I literally cried when I opened this because I don't have any hand spun because I don't spin yet. And yeah, so they spun this for me for my birthday, which was super exciting, and I adore the colors. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna make, but I'm very excited to make something. So I had to throw that in. I can't believe I was about to leave without saying anything. It was like tucked up in there. That's where I store it. And so as I was going through to grab stuff, I missed it. But there it is in all its glory. It's so beautiful. I need to find the perfect project. Very excited. Anyway, with that, now my arm is getting tired because I'm not used to holding things up at this weird angle. Sorry, everything's shaky too. There we go. Okay, with that, I will talk to you later. I hope that you are vaccinated or soon to be vaccinated so that you can go out like a normal person again. It's so nice. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.